Hello, everyone. Welcome to another session of the Saturday Expert Series. Today, super excited to talk about a very unique topic. We all talk in Ayurveda about dincharyas and ritucharyas, where we are focusing really on maintaining routines to maintain the harmony within your body with the external environment, right? So, today we are specifically talking about Ritucharya for women because we're also trying to appreciate the uniqueness of a woman's body and her needs for different regimens during the natural cycles of her life. And for that, who else could we bring on today to interview than Dr. Vandana Baranwal? So Dr. Vandana is a BAMS MD, and she's an internationally renowned Ayurveda expert. She's the founder of AyurveDatri Women's Wellness Solutions. She's classically trained in Ayurveda for 8.5 years, and she has done her master's in Ayurvedic Obs and Gynecology from BHU Banaras Hindu University. She's also authored 2 books on Ayurveda, especially for women. So I'm super, super excited to have you back here, Dr. Vandana. How are you doing today?
Thank you, Manjari. I'm doing good. Today it's a good weather outside. Sun has come out in all its force, so I'm enjoying that warmth. And I'm very happy to be on your show. I'm looking forward to taking questions and talking about women health. Like you said, not many people address the cycles and the ritu that happens inside a woman's body
Mhm.
and the changes of the season she goes through from childhood to menarche to adulthood to menopause.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited to be here and I look forward to your questions and sharing
Yeah.
with
So
people.
yeah, thank you so much. And for our listeners, if you're watching this live, please say a quick hi. If you are in my Facebook group, please hashtag with your name because sadly I can't see the names. I know you say hi and you ask questions, but I would love to know who's watching this. And if you have any questions for us, you can post it in the comment section. We're talking about the natural cycles of a woman's life. Hello, Dr. Rajan. Good morning. We're talking about natural cycles in a woman's life, and if you have questions, let us know. So, in Ayurveda, Ritu has different connotations, right? Ritucharya, we mean by this seasonal regimen, how our diet, our lifestyle, everything should change through seasons. But what is the specific meaning for the word Ritu used in context of women?
So, like you said, Ritu means season, and season in a year is a cyclical thing. Summer followed by like spring, winter, and it keeps on going on one after the other. In the same way, in a woman's body, we have cycles in the form of menstruation that keeps on a cyclical basis coming. So, this in Ayurvedic text has been described as Ritu Chakra, the cycle of seasons. Ritu means season and chakra is cycle. So Ritu Chakra, that is called cycle of seasons that we honor in a woman's body, that we compare to menstruation. And it has been divided into 3 cycles, 3 phases, not cycles, 3 phases. Ritukal, Ritu Vyatitkal, and Rajaswalakal. So Ritukal we can compare to proliferative phase of menstruation, and then Ritu Vyatit Kal we can compare to secretory phase, and Rajaswala Kal, of course, the menstrual phase. So, in a cyclical uh, manner, these 3 phases repeat and happen inside the body of a woman. That's why it has been called Ritu Chakra. Many people know about, like you said, many people know about the seasons that happen in a year, and they understand Ritucharya in that way. But we also honor this Ritu Chakra in Ayurveda in a woman's body. And there are specific doshas that govern them. There are specific regimens, lifestyle, food, and specific herbs that has been described in Ayurvedic text to explain and understand and help women when they are going through problems during these cycles. Like Ayurveda is, the preventative aspect is given more importance. So, understanding the physiology of these seasons happening inside the body, understanding the regulatory doshas, and how we can just maintain health and happiness with a healthy cycle.
Okay. And why are healthy cycles important? Like I have never said this on a video, but my own health journey started in a very weird way, is what I found Ayurveda. I was really short. I'm 5'7" now, which is really tall for an Indian girl, like probably okay tall, not maybe really tall, but it's tall for, Indians. And I was really short, and I was made to eat a diet of milk and bananas, growing up, and that created so much kapha excess in my body that I was 96 kgs by the time I was 16. So pre-teens, I was put on this diet because, I was short. I was getting teased about being short, and then to just gain, some be tall, somebody suggested, oh, drink milk and bananas, you'll grow tall. And um I did not menstruate for 10 months, right? And at the time I was thinking that this was a big nuisance. When you're giving your exams, you're like, oh, I'm happy I don't have a cycle. And that I've also seen my clients, they're not worried about not having a cycle. I knew about the effect of not having a regular cycle later on when the weight piled on. So why are cycles really important, and why should we really focus on making sure that, we are menstruating every month, and not just menstruating, but it's healthy cycle, because in Ayurveda we talk about certain signs of a healthy cycle, and in the Western world, again, it's completely ignored. We see lots of women on birth control who never have a cycle at all. So what's really the importance of having a healthy cycle?
So in Ayurveda, women has been honored. In every civilization, you see, it's not just Ayurveda or not just Ayurveda coming from India. All over the world, in all civilizations, women has been honored because they are the source. They are the one who cradle civilizations in their lab. They are important for fertility.
Yeah.
That's from where the civilizations arise. So how it would happen? It is all seated in the cycle, a healthy cycle. When there is a healthy cycle, it ensures that the fertility period from menarche till she reaches perimenopause or menopause, that fertile period in a woman's life, when cycles are healthy, fertility is ensured because through the healthy cycles, she releases ovum, and that creates the chances of a healthy concepts. So cycles are very important. But while you were coming to the point of healthy cycle, why healthy cycles are important, you talked about a lot of things, and I would go one by one over them. So the one thing you said, that your experience from menarche as you were transitioning from your childhood to menarche to adulthood, where the cycle was established, that phase has been very turbulent, and it all goes to your diet also.
Yeah.
So you had this thing in your mind that you were conscious about your, say, height or your physique, and you were very conscious that you were looking for some solutions, and you were made to eat banana and milk. So see here, Ayurveda says that dosha dominance during the ages. So when a girl child transitions from her childhood to say menarche, adulthood, this transition phase. So in Ayurveda, it has been explained that childhood we associate with the dominance of kapha dosha, adulthood the pitta dosha, and as we advance to old age, the dominance of vata dosha. So when you are at a phase where you are transitioning from childhood to adulthood, that menarche happens. In Ayurveda, it has been described like uh, not in the Brihatraya, but Bhavprakash Purvakhand and Harit Samhita, they have given even the Bala, Kumari, Rajomati. So these are the phases where the kapha is dominant, and Harit has described very distinctly that Vata is Heen, Pitta is Madhya. So what happens that we need to be very conscious about the tide. We should not make girls who are at this transitioning or at the tip of transition to make them eat kapha dominant food. Milk is kapha dominant, banana is kapha dominant, and to add to that, they are opposite incompatible food also.
Yeah.
So it is very bad choice that was made, and you were fed and you suffered the consequences. So what we eat and how we transition, what should be the lifestyle, is very important. So healthy cycle is important. understanding the doshas at that phase of life in that individual is important, because every individual is unique. Someone who is short in height, someone who is tall in height. So we in Ayurveda see it as the dominance of dosha. It is like all the play of bioenergies. So
Yeah.
cycle is important. To top to that, healthy cycle is important, and maintaining a healthy routine is also equally important.
Mhm. See, and that's how I found Ayurveda, because I had these issues for about, I think 10 months I didn't menstruate. And I tried all the endocrinologists. Nobody had any solutions. And finally, I went to an Ayurvedic doctor when I didn't even know what Ayurveda was all about. And she took detailed history and she's like, your diet is completely wrong. And again, it's not suitable for your body. You are a kapha dominant person. Like, this is what has happened. So that was the first time I really found the answers. And that's when I understood the importance of cycles, because in my mind till that, I was like, oh, I'm happy, I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to, you know, and it's been regular ever since. Once we did the correction, like it's been regular over since. Now, the we talked about healthy cycle. What about the signs of healthy cycle? Because women don't pay attention to it. When we ask questions related to menstrual cycle, most women are clueless, unless they're having some significant trouble. So when we talk about the Shuddha Artav Lakshanas, nobody seems to really be mindful about it unless you're prodding them to really check every month. So can you describe a little bit about that as well?
Yes, so healthy cycle, there are two things that we should focus on. This is one thing is that the cyclical period, how
Mhm.
it is happening. It could happen at 27, 28 days. That cycle is normal. And for some women, if it is happening at 30 to 35 days, even that is normal. For a kapha woman, for a pitta woman, and for a vata woman. And sometimes the irregularity of 4 5 days, or say even a week, is normal for a vata woman. Because as we know, the vata, it makes things irregular just because of its nature, the quality. So how the cycle is happening in an individual, what is the duration and interval, is important, and that is very unique to women. We should not compare that, oh, the cycle is just like in modern science, it is said that the cycle should be 28 days cycle or 28 to 30 days cycle. In Ayurveda, we see it as an individual thing where it could be anything from 25-day cycle to 35-day cycle, which is highly unique to that individual. So this regularity of cycle, what is unique to that individual in her body, this cyclical period comes regularly at that time is important, and this shows that this is healthy cycle. And the second is that during the menstruation, Ayurveda focuses on the kind of blood and how the things are manifesting. So Ayurveda focuses on the blood, that it has been compared with a couple of things, but I'm not going into the typical classical things for practical purposes.
Mm.
Having normal menstruation where the blood does not have any kind of a smell and it is of pure blood color, that
Mm.
is important. It has been compared to the rabbit's blood and
Mm.
couple of things. So it is not that we have to compare with that.
Yeah.
Many women may not have seen what color the rabbit's blood is also, but by nature we know. Growing up, we hence somebody's hand would be cut, like a finger cut will show the true color of the blood or in the pictures. So
Yeah.
it should have the color of the pure blood. It should not be associated with any kind of a smell. And Ayurveda says that when it is washed, it should not leave a stain. And
Mhm.
there should be light stain. It would not completely go, but it should not stain darkly. So when washed with warm water, the stain should go. And the third thing is that it should not be, the menstrual phase should not be associated with pain or any kind of discomfort that hampers day-to-day activities. So the kind of blood that is passed during menstruation and just the normality means it should be uneventful. They
Mhm.
should be able to live their daily routine. They should be able to live the normal life doing their daily routine. And it comes on the regular pattern, what is unique to that individual is important, that says that yes, the cycle is normal. and we cannot define it in correct words that this is the cycle every woman should have. It is
Yeah.
highly individual. So
Mhm.
every woman should understand who they are and what is their normal.
Mhm.
This is very important. They should not compare, oh, my sister is having this, I am having this, so mine is abnormal. No,
Mhm.
this is not like that.
Mhm.
I
No,
hope this answers your question.
no, that is a really good point, because that's often what I see, oh, somebody else has really light periods and mine are really heavy, but they're not painful. They've always been heavy. So then that is your norm, So even educating clients about it. But when there are, clots or when it's like brownish discharge, that's when we speak, okay, it's going towards abnormality, the blood, like there's a lot of stagnation that we can find, right?
So this is the quality here that if a woman have kapha dosha dominant in her mind body type, then
Mhm.
she may have the tendency to pass clots because it would be just that she retains blood before passing it out. It would be
Right.
just that how the body is structure, form.
Mhm.
She may not pass it immediately. The body is such that in her body, the bioenergies play this role that once it is secreted from the uterus, it is held inside the vagina for some time before being discharged. So she may have the tendency to pass some clots. And for a pitta person, it could be that she is passing a little heavy, or it could have with some feeling of hotness and some heavy discharge also. But that is normal. And in vata person, a woman, it could be that sometimes she have light discharge and sometimes heavy discharge. It could be
Mhm.
associated with pain. But for that mind body type, we would say that you take it with a pinch of salt that you are having your periods like this, and do these things just like lifestyle and food,
Yeah.
and be ready that your periods are going to be like that. She does not need any intervention.
Yeah. So my question is about the pain, because cycles are not supposed to um, interact with your day-to-day activities, like it is a period of rest. So there are two components to this that I really want to discuss with you, because one is where, this is the time where Ayurveda says that you have to rest, you have to take it easy. You don't have to push too hard because you're already apan is really strong in the body. And then I've also seen women here, lifting weights and doing a lot of strenuous activity or exercising like nothing has changed in their life. At the same time, there are other women who are sometimes crippled because of, menstruation, where there is so much pain and um, not even with endometriosis, but even, just generally without being diagnosed with anything, the pain is kind of the dominant feature. So could you shed a light on both of this and your thoughts?
Yes. So in Ayurveda, we have this Rajasvala that the women should follow during the menstruation. It does recommends that there are certain do's and don'ts, like she should take rest, like you said. It is given extreme importance that she should take rest. There is a kind of lifestyle recommended in Ayurveda, which is where it focuses on that they are calm in their mind and they get rest, and diet should be very light. So this is a phase where it can be compared like a phase where there is an open wound inside the body, there is a bleeding from the uterus. We should understand and honor that situation and give women that this benefit of taking rest, because she does need rest. She is menstruating. And the second thing is that, like you said, apan vayu is dominant, but there is a thing that her Agni is on the lower side.
Yeah.
That's why in Ayurveda says that Agni is Mandir. That's why in the Rajasvalacharya Ayurveda recommends that Havishya, Anna should be Havishya. You know the Sanskrit term, it means that the kind of grains that ignite fire.
Mhm.
Havishya is used for yagya, where it
Yeah.
is added, it ignites fire. So at that time, Agni is also Mand. So you see the lifestyle that is designed is around that there is a kind of wound, that uterus is desiccating and discharging, there is bleeding. So to honor that, like after surgery, what would happen? Person is given rest the same way. It is a physiological process, but it needs support with the lifestyle where she gets rest. And the second thing is the food, what she eats. So I according to Ayurveda, the Agni is Mand, so she should eat light and easily digestible food, and there should be things in her diet which ignites fire. And the third thing is we need to understand the role of vata here. Because of the five kinds of vata, the apan vayu, which is responsible for the excretion or elimination from the body, is active, and its role is in the pelvic area. Its place is in the pelvic area, and it plays important role at the time of menstruation. It helps discharge the menstrual blood, and if they are doing some work, if they are not supporting it with their lifestyle, if they are not taking care of their food and eating habits. So there are three things: food and eating habits, the kind of lifestyle, and that is too with the current kind of lifestyle in the modern era where heavy work is there, like you said, lifting weight, external work. So this is not the kind of thing they should be doing. And it all comes together to precipitate the discomfort, or sometimes which manifest as symptom in many women. And of these, the pain is most because Vapan Vayu is dominant at the time and in the pelvic area. If they would not take care of that, Vata is the dosha that help manifest pain. There are all the doshas involved, but its dominance is that manifests pain. And here, if we do not take care of Vapan Vat, specifically in the pelvic area, the pain would be there. So these are the reasons. That's why Ayurveda says that there is a specific kind of lifestyle every woman should follow to have a easy or symptomless menstrual period.
And what are your thoughts on the emotions, or when we talk about PMS, because I'm sure you've had the experience where when we change people's diet and lifestyle, the PMS suddenly seems to disappear. I've
Yes.
had so many emails, oh, it's my first cycle after we changed and I feel fine, I don't have any mood disorder, or I don't have, different issues. But why do women experience a lot of emotion, especially in the pre-menstrual phase?
So, see, in Ayurveda, as we transition from childhood to adulthood, from kapha to pitta phase of life, and this transition continues after her adulthood when she transitions to old age. Then from adulthood to old age, she transitions from through the perimenopause and menopausal period. So this transition has been in Ayurveda described based on the doshas, and that is what plays important role where the women suffer or the girls suffer during their PMS. It mostly affects during the menarche period. Once the PMS, many a times it goes away after their first child is born. Many
Yeah.
women come to us and they tell
Yeah.
that, oh, I have suffered all my life, but
Yeah.
after my delivery, fortunately, it got over. So
Yeah.
this is the thing, that from kapha, when they transition to pitta phase, so it is just that the doshas that play the role, if it is not supported by the lifestyle, that women suffer from PMS, there would be more anxiety, irritability, or many girls suffer from that depression also, just at the beginning. And there would be the retention of the water that would cause
Mhm.
heaviness, and there would be bloating.
Mhm.
Sometimes some girls go through cycles of like loose motions or constipation, and these all come together, and this apprehension that now I am going to have my period, this all culminates together to manifest as emotional or mental problems. It affects their psyche. So it is not just one thing. In every individual, according to their doshas, it manifests. It could be as anxiety, or a loss of sleep in a vata dominant person. It could be irritability, getting angry so quickly on small things, just snapping out in the pitta dominant person. And it could be just going inside, not sharing with others, or depression or laziness in the kapha mind person. So it is all the play of these bioenergies that just gets overwhelmed, being not supported by their lifestyle or food. And this
Yeah.
is also the age where the kind of things like how I look, how I go outside, this all is also a kind of tension that creates in today's world. So
Yeah.
it all comes together to manifest as mental symptoms. And you know, the wonderful thing you have not asked, but I'm going to tell you, for every phase of this, I will have specific herbs and specific, before going to herbs, they have a specific kind of lifestyle for each kind of mind body type
Mhm.
to support it. So,
Yeah. No, you can discuss more about it before I take the next question. Yeah.
so see, when most of the time Ayurveda is not yet so popular, and it has been at the, like, on sidelines, still not many people know about their mind and body type.
Yeah.
And when mothers do not know how they will educate their girls, so it is very important, and that's what we are doing, to spread the knowledge, to understand who we are.
Yeah.
There is no need to generalize. We
Yeah.
need to understand who we are and honor that. When we understand who we are, and when we support our lifestyle and our food and our eating habits, with that, the girls do not suffer from these symptoms. So when
Yeah.
a girl understands that she have vata dominance, then she will not be apprehensive, she would be ready, and she would be ready with her lifestyle, just doing a daily abhyanga, just understanding that food that essentially is unctuous, that essentially have water and moisture content in it, would reduce some of the symptoms, would help her relieve her mental problems, like the anxiety. And if she will support it with good sleep, she will not suffer from the anxiety. And the girl who have pitta dominance, if she simply understands that she needs to balance pitta and add the kind of lifestyle and food in her daily routine before the menstruation starts, then she will not suffer from that. So the food and lifestyle is very important. And if it is not supported by that, and when they suffer and when they come to us, there are herbs like, for specifically for PMS, like musta,
Mhm.
Cypress rotundus, or aloe, uh, Grit Kumari, or uh, say hingu, uh,
Mhm.
that we call hing, uh, or that we can say, see, these ashwagandha, guduchi, madhyashti, they have become shatavari, they have become very popular, but
Yeah.
they are more supportive for the women who are entering their fertility, if
Mhm.
you are ready for childbearing. But the girl who has just transitioned from
Yeah.
menarche to active regular cycles, when she is having symptoms, the herbs that help her are, we do not have to go for these herbs. Like I said, musta, aloe, hingu. These are the herbs that are more beneficial during this phase.
Mhm. No, that's, really good because I mean that's a really good discussion because as you said, like the other herbs like shatavari, everybody wants to take it, but you don't have to, like as a child or somebody who is just growing up or 14 or 16, like you don't want that, you don't want to like the consequences of increasing your fertility for no reason, at that time. So another question is, we will talk about perimenopause, and we are seeing a lot of early menopause, right? And even with perimenopause, sometimes the symptoms stay up to 10 years. So there's a really nice question by Vaishali. Hi, Vaishali. Thanks for watching. She's asking, how is the cycle affected during perimenopause?
So cycle is affected during perimenopause. It explains itself that it is perimenopause. So she, from active regular cycle, the woman is entering into a phase where she is going to have her cycles disappear. So
Mhm.
this transition from where she is having active regular cycles to not having cycles. So it does not happens over just uh, uh, like, it does not happens abruptly that she is having
Mhm.
cycles and she will not. The body adjusts to it. That's why it is called perimenopause. Gradually, gradually body diminishes this active fertility. And in Ayurveda, this has been described as from pitta phase of life to vata dominant phase of life. So
Mhm.
what happens, that again, it is not a strict that it would happen like this. In each and every woman, it would manifest differently. For a Vata person, it could be that she will have more irregular cycles. For a pitta person, it could be that before the cycles disappear, she would have more hot flashes, she will have heavy bleeding, episodes of heavy bleeding. And in a kapha person, it could be that she is just having prolonged periods where every she is having at the interval of 2 3 months, and very little bleeding. So this perimenopausal phase is a transition from pitta dominant phase of life to vata phase, which is universal to all women, because it is the phase of life that is changing. But the symptoms that manifest are highly unique to them based on their mind body type. So, for some women, it would be just the irregular cycle. For some women, it would be regular cycle with heavy bleeding, or for some women, it would be prolonged cycles with very little bleeding. And the perimenopausal period is also uh, there are symptoms which happen during this period, like we say, uh, dryness of the vagina, which leads to dyspareunia. There could be burning micturition, and it is also associated with hot flashes, sleep disturbances, and there are lots a long list of psychological problems that women go. We have discussed in our last talk also that emptiness syndrome. They have this fear of decreased productivity, not just fertility in the sense of fertility, because of the declining age. They see themselves as going to a phase of retirement from their work, and it scares them. Kids grow up and leave the home, that scares them. Sometimes just the thought of retirement scares them. So these changes happening in the body, when they come together with these things going on in their life, they manifest as psychological symptoms like loss of sleep, irritability, depression, mood swings. So these all come together during the perimenopause, before the menopause is set in, and this makes the life for some women really very miserable, that they seek help, they seek medical help, they seek guidance. But I want to emphasize here that this is a physiological change that mind and body is going. Perimenopause or menopause is not a disease. Women should not get scared. They do not have to go and take medicines or hormones, or they should not look up at this transition as a disease. It
Mhm.
is a phase. When they understand it, they can support it with their lifestyle, they can support it with their food, their eating habits, and they can support it with Ayurvedic herbs to make this transition smooth and uneventful.
And are there any herbs that you would recommend in this perimenopause phase?
So the interesting thing is that yes, there are herbs and they are over, I mean, used or over exploited. And these are, I would, before I share the names of the herbs, I would say that please do not self medicate.
Yeah,
It is
yeah,
all over the internet, it is all over the places. Even the companies that are manufacturing, or the companies that are selling it in the market, they are just writing on the label, but it is a very bad trend. It will bring very bad name to Ayurveda. It is very important to understand that these herbs are very potent medicines also.
yeah.
Though in the Western world, like for you in Canada or for me in USA, we cannot call these herbs medicines. They are just supplements, most of the time food supplements, but they are very potent. They are strong, and they have the actions in the body that we should be very careful and use judiciously, especially on the recommendations of the Ayurvedic doctor only. And these herbs, like many of you already know, most of them are vata balancing, most of them are rasayan that are recommended during the perimenopausal or menopausal phase. And like ashwagandha, shatavari are highly known. There are like aloe, kumari, and madhuyashti, guduchi that are also used.
Yeah. Okay. No, that's And that is so true when it comes to herbs, and even something as shatavari, we've seen what it can do in conditions where there is growth that's dominant. If it's estrogen related growth already or excess estrogenism, then they're going to have more detrimental effects. Endometriosis, I've had so many people take so much shatavari and higher doses than on the bottle because nothing was changing, and I'm like, you're creating more issues than you
Yes,
know
they should know, because what they eat, body have to digest. If the
yeah,
digestion and metabolism is not happening, there
yeah,
is no use of taking these herbs.
yeah, yeah.
And like some of the formulations also, like Ashoka Rish, Ashwagandha Rish, they have become so popular. And
Yeah,
some of the Avalays, women just buy them and self-medicate. But
yeah,
they need to understand their unique mind-body type, the play of doshas at that time, what is out of balance
yeah,
along with their prakriti. They need to understand the vikriti that is going on. If they will not support it with their digestion, correcting their
100%.
digestion and metabolism, there is no use of taking these herbs. Instead of giving them some relief and doing good, they may create some problems for them.
Yeah. Oh, that's really a good explanation that, by the time most people come to us, they're already in Vikiruti, or by the time they start seeking supplements, there's some prapti happening to create conditions. So, you always,
Manjari, the thing is here that so many places on so many websites, these self-assessment of Prakriti is available. Women do not understand these assessments. They do it and they think that what they are doing is correct, and they find them for themselves their mind body type, which I have seen with many of my clients, that what they are doing is they are not understanding while they are doing
yeah,
those tests, while taking that test. They have to keep in mind that how they have been all their life and not how they are currently. But these things are very hard to explain in just a short talk.
yeah,
We need to see who they are by keeping in mind how they have been all their life, not just how they are now. They
yeah,
are so overwhelmed with their symptoms, they do that test and understand it wrongly, and then self medicate, and they make their problem more complex.
yeah.
It takes time to make them understand that what they understood while taking that test is all wrong.
I just had a client who found out she was a Vata dominant through like the online quiz, and she started doing everything to balance the Vata. She started gaining a lot of weight, only for us to work together and learn that she's like a Kapha Pitta.
Oh
Right,
my God.
mixed, and the diet totally messed up. She was retaining water, she was gaining weight, feeling lethargic. So rather than focusing on the vata, that to the prana vayu, which was creating symptoms for her, she started focusing on like really eating heavy foods which were not compatible for her body. So
I feel so sorry for such people.
yeah, yeah,
There is a way to understand Ayurveda, and if they have any problem, there is a way to solve their problem, is simply to talking to an expert, talking to an Ayurveda physician. These days, so many consultations are available online also. So the
yeah,
best way is to understand who they are and what the problem is and how it can be fixed is to talk to an trained Ayurvedic practitioner.
yeah. So Dr. Rajan is asking us, thank you, Dr. Rajan, for watching this. And um, he's asking us to explain a little bit about premenopause. I think we talked about that, but post-menopause symptoms. And another thing he wants to talk about, which is extremely important, is the importance of counseling in all menopausal states. And I think you talked about that a little bit, when you were talking about the psychological symptoms and getting help for it. But could you please describe a little bit more or delve deeper into this?
So, see, when we talk about postmenopausal phase, so according to Ayurveda, this is distinctly Vata phase of life, which
Mhm.
Ayurveda says that is explained as Chaya. So, Chaya in itself increases Vata, and it could be Dhatu Chaya. And
Okay.
this also is a phase where Agni is getting diminished. So,
Mhm.
there is Jatragni is low. So, when we consider this menopause, we have to keep in mind that Agni is low and there is increase of Vata, and we cannot ignore the things that is going on in the person's life very unique to that person. So when we say menopausal symptoms, in general, I can say that most of the symptoms are associated with digestive issues and those caused by vata. So let's see, we are talking about women. So I would focus on the reproductive health, what happens in the postmenopausal women, because if I go into the digestive health, it would take a long discussion. Focusing on the women on their reproductive health, there is like degeneration. So reproductive organs are also degenerating. Ovaries have already stopped secreting hormones because it is postmenopause. So it is not just that they are not secreting hormones, it is just that because of the chai they are increasing vata also. So what happens that vaginal lining, there would be dryness which leads to dyspareunia. Many women have such dryness and they are not very easy talking about them, and they do not know actually where they can go and discuss their issue, where it would be discussed, addressed correctly. And the dryness of the vagina leads to many symptoms. It causes dyspareunia. It is not that just because they're menopausal they cannot enjoy their life at all
Mhm.
times. They could have an active sexual life, but this dyspareunia causes lots of problem.
Mhm.
And the second thing is that burning micturition, the incidence of urinary infection also increases during this phase.
Mhm.
So they need to understand this, that understanding what they are eating, how they are eating, and understanding how they can balance this vata. So this vata cannot be addressed just by vata balancing food and diet and herbs. At this phase, because it is this vata is associated with dhatu chai, degeneration and decay, they need support of the rasayan herbs. So this is the phase. How it is different from perimenopausal and how it is different from menarche is that this phase is distinctly vata, and this vata is caused by degeneration and decay, dhatu chaya. So we
Mhm.
need to understand that it is supported by rasayanams. This is the phase. So that's how it is different. And what would be the rasayan herbs for women is, yes, it is shatavari, which is highly we talked about is misused, but yes, this is the phase of the life where, and they need to understand the dose and how they can, they can just take the sheer pak, they can take
Mhm.
it as avleh, or they can take it just with honey. So each women have to understand how they can take. For a pitta women would, the best way it would be to take as a sheer pak, and
Mhm.
for kapha women it would be best to take as with honey. Honey is for a kapha, and then they can take it as avleh. But they, at the same time, they need to understand to digest and metabolize their how their digestive fire is, what time of the day they need to take it, what other rasayan herbs they can make a combination of guduchi, madhuyashti and chatavari works well for some women, and just taking ashwagandha at bedtime and the shatavari works for some women. We need to see how the symptoms are manifesting. And in the postmenopause phase, one thing you said I would like to say is the time of this menopausal period, these symptoms stay for 10 years. So see what has happened in the modern era, that life span has been increased because of these health care system, health support. Lifespan of a women have increased, and at the same time the women, this transition because of the lifestyle, the stress of the modern life, they are entering into the early menopause. The perimenopause period is long, and then it is prolonged and passes up to the menopause. So
Yeah.
this is a very complex situation where women are suffering from passing from perimenopause to menopause, and this period is as long sometimes 10 years.
Yeah.
So
And sorry, that's what I feel, because of the constant demands, like we are, though we are in the pitta cycle, when we look at like the menstrual phases, or but you rapidly go into this vat prakop, sometimes, some traumatic events happen, sometimes life happens. COVID is like a common trauma for everyone. So that's constantly aggravating your vata, and it's pushing you towards, that perimenopause, or really creating a lot of depletions in your body, really creating those changes where your hormones are dropping, your digestive fire is not working as well. So if you are watching this video, for everyone, please, take care of your health. And especially if you are in your menstrual, like maybe early 20s, that's when you need to be preparing, healthily for a stronger body, not just for conception, but making sure you're honoring your natural cycles, for lifelong. Any other, like, this is a very interesting discussion, and I always love discussions with you. Anything else you would like to say to our listeners? Any other guidance?
Yes, for all women through all the ages, I would say that Ayurveda says that Ayurveda describes women as Sukumar. So
Mhm.
in today's world, women are out there to prove themselves. They can do everything. They do not have to be Hercules doing everything. Honor your body, how nature has designed you. Ayurveda says that it is a delicate and women should stay delicate. It does not mean that you cannot do what you want. It does
Yeah.
not mean that you are less in strength. It does not mean that you are not strong in your mind. But understand that by nature you are delicate. That means that you have the cyclical periods going on in your body that we call in Ayurveda Ritucharya. So understand that during active reproductive period, take care, and how they can take care is Ayurveda gives very powerful tools in the form of lifestyle and food.
Mhm.
When we honor our body, we should understand that eating healthy is important, but how we eat is important. So take time for yourself, sit down and eat. Do not eat on go. And women have this tendency to ignore themselves. All over the world, I have seen that women are mother, they take care of others. They
Mhm.
have this compassion, that they are so selfless most of the time that they care about others, and in that they start ignoring themselves. So the most important thing I want to tell is that understand that by nature you are designed as a delicate being. Understand that and take care of yourself. Do not ignore. One of the important things is that while doing all these things, like for work they are traveling, so women ignore the natural urges also. When they feel like they have not slept enough, they are tired, they ignore that, they keep on working. This have very bad effect on their physiology. When they ignore, they have natural urges pass to pass urine or to go to bathroom, bowel movements, sometimes they hold those urges also, they ignore. That is very damaging, that vitiates vata. Sometimes they have this urge of hunger, they ignore that, they will keep on delaying their lunch time from when they are hungry, it would get delayed 2 3 hours. Please do not do that. Take care of yourself. So understand who you are is very important. Do not ignore. You are, make yourself most important person in your life and take care of yourself.
Yeah, no, that is really, good advice. And um, I know everything about this is about a little bit about me today. Like right now I'm okay, but 20s, I think I spent most of my 20s competing with guys. If you can do this, I can do it better. And then you push yourself too hard. So whether it was college, academics, or anything, and then you're not sleeping, and then and you just have to appreciate you're different. It's not about that comparison or trying to prove a point or trying to prove you're better. It's just about appreciating how you are, just going inwards and really seeing what your body needs, what your mind needs at the time, or what like fills your spirit as well, what's your kind of spiritual need, rather than trying to gauge everything based on external.
Yes, that is very important. You know, I think that after the World War II, Second World War, it just happens that women started working, going out and competing with the men, and that has continued till today.
Yeah,
Now is the time to, for women all over the world, to think and honor their feminine self. They need to take care of themselves as being a woman. They do not have to compete with men,
yeah.
and
And
even they do not have to compete with other women. They should honor who they are.
yeah. Yeah. And it is, it took me a long time, like especially reading Ayurveda, it took me a long time to realize that femininity is not about being weak, it's just about understanding your flow. Because the one thing that, anytime we look at a woman's life, it's like you're smoothly, as long as you're flowing, you're not stagnating, or you're just, it's like a gentle flow in life, you're not kind of pushing hard. And if things feel like you're trying to push too hard or work too hard, or um you're getting like really mentally agitated or affected, it's time to like really ground yourself and find what's happening in your life, really take note of what's going on and where you need to create those changes to honor yourself.
I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you. And you know, the Ayurveda is the best and most profound science that has happened. I mean, in today's world for women, because Ayurveda is the science and the only science that focuses on an individual. It does not generalizes.
Yeah.
So this is the time to practice and understand Ayurveda, because Ayurveda says that good health is, we need to bring the spirituality here also when we want to live a life. We do not need to compete with others, proving this life is like a gift to us. We should honor and understand. It is not to be wasted on these trivial issues.
Yeah.
That's why Ayurveda says that. I, uh, I mean to say that Ayurveda says that this body is just a step towards living this life cycles, like Rituchakra and the cycles of the age. It is also the cycles of many birth that Ayurveda describes. It
Hmm.
Sankhya that health, good health is a gift to humans, to be liberated, to practice the good life so that they are liberated from the cycles of life and death.
Hmm.
So this is a chance, and we should not waste in the trivial worldly things. But it would be going beyond the discussion of today's topic. So, but we cannot ignore Ayurveda is not just about living this in this physical body. We cannot ignore spirituality that is associated with this living. And Ayurveda always focuses on that. We would be only happy, we would be only satisfied when we honor our consciousness, when we connect deeply within us. So it is more important to understand that strength instead of going outside and showing physical strength.
Hmm. No, that's so true. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for the lovely discussion. Truly, it's my honor to have you here. And if somebody wants to get in touch with you, how can they get in touch with you?
Yes, I have my website, AyurveDatri.com. They can reach me through that, or they can note down my email, teamayurvedatri@gmail.com. They can reach me through that also. And people can note down my phone number, 646-290-1351. They can reach out to me through that, or they can simply text me through Messenger on Facebook. So I would love to answer questions, connect with people, help them in their journey. If any women out there who has not been able to ask question, please feel free to reach out to us, and we would be very happy to help you.
Yeah, and for all the listeners, thank you so much. And if you need more information about Dr. Vandana, it's also in the write up of the video. You'll have the link to her website. You'll also have her email address right in the write up. So if you want to connect further, if you have any questions, feel free to get in touch with both of us. We'll be more than happy to answer any of the questions that you have. And thank you all for watching. So Prem Lata is saying that I love how both of you reiterate to all women how you need to honor yourself. Yes, I think that's the need of the like time right now. Like even with COVID, I think that's what's happening. We really lose focus of ourselves and kind of focus on everything else. So everybody listening, please honor yourself. Really focus on yourself. Thank you so much. Yeah, sorry,
I
go ahead.
would like to thank, yes, I would like to thank all the people who have joined, and all my listeners. And thank you, Manjari, for inviting me and for this lovely discussion. I always enjoy talking to you, and women health is close to my heart. I love this topic.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Bye for now. So, everyone, Wednesday is like when we are coming back for the lives on Wellness Wednesday. Sorry, I'm kind of losing my own track. So, this,
Saturday.
Yeah, yeah. So today's Saturday, so I'll be back on my Facebook for the Wellness Wednesday.
Mhm.
Next week, we're going to talk about digestive health. So that's extremely important. So stay tuned. And we'll also be back for the next Saturday interview. And everybody have a lovely long weekend. Happy Easter in advance. And everybody have fun. Yeah. Bye.
Thank you so much. Bye bye, everyone. Bye bye.